Welcome to the Diversity Connector podcast, where we explore the rich tapestry of human experiences. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging, and together as we dive into conversations that bridge cultures, challenge stereotypes, and celebrate the unique perspectives each of us brings to the table. Each episode is a journey through stories and insights from a kaleidoscope of voices, each sharing their colorful narrative. Whether you're at home, on the go, or just anywhere in between, you're now part of a community that values understanding, inclusivity, and the beauty of diversity. So plug in your headphones, get comfortable, and let's connect through the power of our shared stories. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the Diversity Connector podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Diversity Connector. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of a fascinating young woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Hanoona. I'm 20 years old and I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. I actually arrived to Australia 3 years ago, and I was originally born in Iraq, raised there till the age of 13 years old, and then I moved down to Jordan. Waiting for a visa to come to Australia. During that time, we waited 2 years and 7 months. And originally, like in my hometown, we spoke Assyrian at home. And it was like this language I have adapted, they kept for several years. It's actually a part of the Aramaic language, like the Assyrian language is a branch of the Aramaic language. So it's a very old language that is kept passing on. And then I did my primary school in Arabic. It's where I lived, like Iraq. It's an Arabic country where we speak and practice Arabic. And so basically, I was raised and between those two cultures, my Assyrian culture at home, and then the country that I was living in is the Arabic language. And then I moved down to Jordan when I was 14 years old. And during that time, I was exposed to so many different other cultures, and it was something wonderful for me because like I got to learn and experience what other people practices and beliefs are. And basically during that time in Jordan, I did not have any schooling. So and that is because like I migrated to Jordan. So living there as a refugee and not having schooling, I actually started and sit down with myself, asking myself, what is my reason on this life? What is the meaning basically of this life, and why I'm here, and what's my purpose? So having all of those big questions as a 14 years old and having no schooling, and also like I was new to Jordan, so I did not have any friends. So church was my comfort zone where I used to go, and there was lots of youth groups and other kind of activities were kind of happening. So I started practicing and understanding my faith in a deeper way. Besides that, I started watching some YouTube videos. I started listening to some of the lectures that is available on YouTube's and TikToks, and I started like kind of gaining some experience about the meaning of life from those speakers that I used to listen to. And beside that, I also was listening to motivational speeches by like so many different people, and that was quite inspiring for me. And so I started to understand and also like having some answers to my big questions. And since church wise my comfort zone, I got to go deeper and understand what's the meaning of being Christian and why am I Christian. And once I understood that, I adapted my identity as a Christian, because like having so many different, being exposed to so many different cultures since a young age, and then moving between countries, I had to adapt, and that adaptation did not really fully give me the sense of identity that I was searching for. So once I kind of went deeper in my faith, and also I understood who am I. I'm actually was confident to start putting goals for life. So I'm currently studying psychology, and the reason why it's just because that period that I was waiting in Jordan, I did see a need to have more awareness about mental health and the importance of talking about it. So basically, I started volunteering in so many different places in Jordan, and during that time, while we were visiting some refugees' families to assist them, that is either with food or clothing, I did see the need that is in the community. It's not actually for the physical need that we're offering, but it's for more about the psychological and emotional need that they needing. Like when we would go there, they would just would love to have someone to speak to them, hear them, and understand their struggles. And since I got to experience and see the needs of the having a psychiatrist or a psychologist in the community, at the same time I was listening to a psychiatrist on on YouTube. So I did understand that, well, as a culture where I was living in and my community, is there is like so many stereotype about psychology, about mental health. And if you go and like ask for a psychologist, you basically kind of have mental illnesses, and it's not, people will start mock you. So that's why my starting point that, well, once I arrive Australia, I will work hard till I get into my psychology degree. So this was the start of me. First I understood my identity. Second, I started putting some goals, and those goals I started working on them. So once we got accepted to Australia, we came, and we first came in Queensland. And during that time, it was kind of like COVID was happening. So since I knew myself want to pursue psychology, so I was working really hard to improve my English, because at that time I did not speak any English. And so I started working hard, and also like those extra hours of traveling, I started using them to put some extra work to improve my English. And I actually did. I only did language schooling for 2 months, and then I moved down to mainstream, and I did high schooling. And it was kind of challenging at that time for me, very struggling, because it's a new culture, new language, new friendships, and also like even though like at certain point I was speaking the language, but the academic level that was required, it was pretty high for me. And that is because like I lost 4 years of schooling, moving down between countries. And second, even when creating some friendship, those friendship that I will be creating, it's kind of like hard to communicate with my friends. And that is because I was raised in a different culture, in a different place. So like the topics that they will be talking about is so much different to my topic. And also like the things that like the movies or cartoon that in their childhood that they used to watch is also different to mine. So actually there is no common ground between me and my friends to create that sense of friendship. So it was very tiring and very hard to kind of adapt and understand how the system work in Australia and everything. So, but like since I had the identity and I discovered and I was adapting that well, I will keep practicing my faith as a Christian. I did meet some other Christian friends at my school, and we did connect it well. But when I was trying to connect with other students, it was quite challenging, and even like they were kind to me, but like um you don't really know what to talk about when two people from different cultures, there is no common ground, and also like my English was broken, it's kind of hard to keep that friendship up. But um and during all of this mess of like not doing well at school, not having friends, I was always looking up at my goal, which is like psychology. So when we came to Melbourne, we came in 2021, and I was year 11 at that timing. So I started asking all of my teachers and like people around me, how can I get into psychology? Because like to get into uni and study that degree, there is certain requirements and that I should achieve. So I started asking, and I kind of like gathered all of the data that I do need of like how could I get into psychology, and I started working hard on my like year 11 and 12. And during that time, I actually failed English Unit 1. And if I continued to do so, that's meant I did not have high school graduation or neither like a VCE certificate, which means I will not be able to get to uni straight away, and I will have to go through a different pathway that was kind of much harder and kind of not sure about the process about it. So even though like I was failing and I was like struggling, I was always looking up that I have a goal to get into uni for my course, and I just kept looking at that and working hard. And even when I was failing and on the edge of failing the whole thing, I was kind of like pushing myself. And also like the people around me, including my teachers and some of the friends that I met at the school at that timing, they were motivating me. So I did it and succeeded here 11. And during that time, I really had the passion to be the school captain. So when I went down on applying for that role at my school, one of the teachers was like, well, we only like kind of require those students who were since year 7 in our school to be the school captain. And I told her like I only been in the country only for 2 years, so like that's why I don't have that kind of thing. And she was like, my teacher, you could ask for reference from your teachers to support you. So I did that, and six teachers supported me, outlining that, well, despite that Sarah does not have this the requirement of being since year 7 to year 12, and also like kind of like English is not her language, but yet she demonstrated the characteristic of a leader and a role model. And all like the five teachers did support me, and my sixth teacher was kind of like doubting that I might not be able to do it with year 12 as it would be too much of requirement. But like the five letters that I got, and even my sixth teacher did support me but did not write the letter, I applied and I did select it to become the first EAL students of like school captain. And during that time, I was actually very motivated that, well, I have improved my English. I kind of started adapting to the Australian culture here, and I started creating some friendship. So, during all of this time, I was already kind of volunteering in my community, and it was like something important for me to keep doing of what I'm doing, that is the volunteering job in the community. And that is because like all of the experiences that I got and what I have adapted, I'm kind of was like I want to really volunteer my time to share those experiences with similar people who are nearly arrived, that to give them a sense of hope, that even though that at the beginning you might not speak the English language and you might not be adapting well to this culture, but there is still hope. And this just like I did, like kind of took my time of adaptation to this new place, so also you will do so. And also like start putting goals for yourself, because like most of the time when we get stuck, it's actually because we don't have something that we're looking up to keep going. So I started encouraging people to put some goals, and also to look up to those goals and keep going. And that was through my volunteering work, that is either at the church or like my role as a youth advisor during year 12, and during being a school captain and all of this mess. I kind of like manage all of my time to do all of those things, and also get the high school certification and get into my course.
Sarah, you are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And congratulations on receiving the Young Achiever Award from the
Thank you.
Rotary Club of Melbourne. And you were also named the Hume Young Leader of the Year. So, can you share with us what these accolades mean to you personally and professionally?
Personally and
And professionally.
cool. So basically, the awards that I have received, it was like at the moment, it was very kind of good feeling that, well, I did get recognized and celebrated. And also during that timing, I had my parents beside me, and also my mentors who did support me along that journey. So it was very inspiring that, well, all of the people who did support me. And also like when I look back, I don't see myself did that journey by myself, or did all of the things that I have did by myself. It was like my teachers, my parents, and also my community who was encouraging me at when I was feeling down to keep going. So being there at the award ceremony and having them beside me, it means that we all celebrating that kind of achievement together, is not just by myself. And so emotionally it means like, well, it's something meaningful that my family and my parents get to be proud of me, because like this is why we came to Australia. And seeing them, that is that what they aimed for is kind of like already happening, and seeing their kids kind of succeeding is something very meaningful for me. And beside the so professionally, it's kind of like good to use that platform to be like a role model to my younger generation, or also like just the people around me. And I did see that like it's like kind of a light shining and around. So I did see in my peers that is either at the university or like some of my high school students, whenever I'm receiving something or doing something, they get inspired. And also,
Yes.
while I was a school captain, I used that platform to share my story and inspire others. So, like, I graduated high school last year, And this year I got to see that some of the students who saw me last year, they kind of like inspired to apply to be a school captain, and they started
Mm.
engaging in some of the programs at the community. And they always kind of messaging me that, Sarah, we look up to you, and we kind of like we would love to do the same. So like it's kind of like a moment for me to use that and encourage them, and kind of like push them to go and beyond and further, because
I love
like
it.
yeah, it's
That
kind of
is
like
just awesome. So, with such a rich background, starting with your journey from Iraq to Australia 3 years ago, can you describe the challenges you faced as a young person integrating into a new community and how you overcame those challenges?
hmm, some of the main challenges that always popping on my head, that is the English language. As I mentioned, like when I came here with my family, we all did not speak English. Like we were exposed to English at schools, and like, but not to the level of professional English that I could communicate um freely with my peers. So sorry, it was a like a barrier that is continuous, a very huge barrier to me. And the fact that it was kind of like a need for me to have this like language, so I could not only assist my family, not only assist me, but also assist my family. And it's kind of like once I started speaking English and like communicating freely with people, I started helping my family with like electricity appliances and all of those requirement to speak with companies that is like utility for the house. And
Mhm.
also like I started helping some like my family with the grocery shopping. So it was kind of challenging at that timing, because I was trying to improve English. So once I improve it, it was kind of like this was not the end, because like I still missed 4 academic years of schooling. So it
Yeah.
was kind of like the time management of between spending that time with my family and assisting them with all of their needs, and also putting the hours on myself to be good at
Yeah.
the school and do the homework, and also improve some further English. So it was very time management and the English barrier that caused lots of things. And
Wow.
if number another different is actually the culture difference, because like the culture that I'm coming from is kind of like so much different to the Australian culture. So
Mhm.
trying to understand the system, trying to understand the culture, at the same time managing and getting and improving my English and helping my family, it was kind of hectic for a young person to go through.
Yes.
And I felt at a certain time that I became like the parent for my family,
Your
to
family, yes.
responsible to help them. And also like it's kind of like a continuous theme till this moment. Like when a new family member comes to Australia, I will be going and helping them and assisting them with all
Mm.
of the needs when it comes to speaking English. And even though like my siblings started like they well speaking English now, but like kind of like think that, well, we need Sarah, not anyone else. So yeah,
I love it. So they
like
relied on you quite a bit.
I love it, and I love helping, and I love being there. But sometimes like it's kind of like challenging, because like with uni now I got assignment and I got other commitment that I need
Yes.
like meeting, and also I have work that I work part-time. So I'm like sometimes it's the timing that is strict that with me, that sometimes I have to sacrifice like missing a lecture or missing a lesson to go and help. So that is like I see a challenge. At the same time I don't see the challenge, because like I'm happy to be there and help, but at the
Yeah.
same time it kind of
Yeah.
impact me down, like I like
Down the line.
to not do well
Yeah.
that much in at uni.
So you have to balance it out. So as a young advisor at the Brotherhood of Florence and in your role at the Center for Multicultural Youth. What are the key issues that you're facing, that young immigrants are facing in Australia today? And how do you approach these issues?
Hmm. Some of the key issues that in my work that I have faced is the doubting of young people's in themselves. Like, for example, um as my role as a youth advisor, it's kind of like not limited, but like one of the roles that I do there, it's kind of like go to schools and speak about my experience of how did I come as a refugee, how did I kind of learn English and then move to high schooling. So like between sharing that stories, I go and share with similar like target group, like students who are moving down from English language learning center to main school, which is like the normal high school. Yeah. So like some of the challenges that I faced, it was like um that the young people, even though they started communicating well and they kind of have this kind of level of English, they kind of always scared and doubting themselves that how would I do high school, how would I communicate, and it's kind of like break my heart to see them like that, doubting themselves and not having hope to do well. So it's kind of like, as much as it is sad for me, but like only my time would be with them, like an hour or two with them, so I make sure to use that time um to say as many as positive insight that I want to encourage them, because like I'm sure each like positive push and encouragement will kind of like be a huge difference for them. And that is
Yeah.
first. And second, I use my story. I tell them that, well, I went to high school, and even though like I did not have this huge, good, lovely, gorgeous English, but I used what
Mm,
I had. I wasn't scared to make mistakes. I would
yeah.
speak to someone and they would correct me about my mistake, and I wouldn't see it something to put me down, but some an encouragement for me to keep going, to keep practicing my English and speak it. And even if I'm gonna make mistakes, people will correct me, and this is not something that I'm ashamed of. But you should be
Yeah.
proud yourself that you can speak more than one language, and you
Yes.
adapting to this kind of culture. So like look at it as like each culture that you have, it's like an identity, and you have more than one identity that you could refer to, and like you have so much strength to be proud of, and like
Yes.
be ashamed or doubting yourself for. So
Oh, wow. It's just amazing. So, you're currently studying a Bachelor of Psychology Science. How do you plan to integrate your academic knowledge with your passion for community service and youth leadership?
Hmm, that is a very great question, because like what I'm studying now, psychology, it's kind of aligning with my work. So one of the subject that I'm doing is event management, and I got to learn about project management, project planning, and I'm kind of doing that at my work. So I get to apply the theory that I'm learning from the university to apply it into my work practically. And then the things that I'm kind of studying, the theories and the psychological theories at the university, is kind of beneficial for me. I'm studying another subject called people and culture. So I got to understand about culture differences, and how the impact of that impact us as a society, and how we could kind of overcome those kind of things. So one of the things that I recently learned about international students and the local students is kind of like Australia is kind of a very high mobility, and like some people who are coming from different overseas, like for example Asia, it's they kind of have low mobility culture. So when coming to Australia and we are very high, it's kind of like difficult for those international students to interact with. And what I mean by relational mobility, it's actually the freedom and the ability to move like between relationship, like, and how you can adapt very quickly. So when I got to understand that some people from different culture would find it hard to adapt to a new culture very quickly, while like some people from very high relational mobility don't have that issue. They would find it easy to form friendship. They would find it easy to go and join a new volunteers group, while some people will struggle with that. So
Yeah.
like that knowledge, I get to apply it and understand the people. Like if I know that person is from this particular place of the world, oh, I could like think, well, that they are coming from low relational mobility, so we can help them and approach them in this kind of way. While for the
Yes.
like people who are coming from high relational mobility, we can help them in this certain way. So I get to apply those kind of theories that I'm learning in practically into my
Uh,
workplace. Yeah.
I love that. So, my last question for you is to do with your public speaking. Before we started the interview, I invited you to be one of our speakers at our
Mm.
next oncoming summit. You describe yourself as a natural public speaker and advocate. What message do you most want to convey to young people about discovering and reaching their potential?
Hmm. I would say that, well, as a young person, we always have this question of identity and who we are, why we're here, and also where am I going. So I would encourage young people at that age to start having those questions, start searching, and put your heart effort at answering those questions. And then once you know your identity, once you know who you are, and you will be able to put some goals that is aligning with your personality and who you are, because once you understanding your characteristic and what you are gifted with, you would be able to put something for yourself. Like for myself, when I was kind of like putting those goals, well, I looked at myself that, well, I'm a young person who I have my identity in my faith and in my Christian belief, and as a result of that, I'm gifted with listening, public speaking. So I will go further and put myself, well, I want to study psychology so I could understand people. So, like, you could do the same. Once you understand, well, this is who am I, this is my characteristic, and this is what I will be good at. So, you kind of putting those goals, and then you start working on that goal. And working on that goal and achieving that goal is not easy. And I want to encourage you to not view pain or suffering as something very awful. It is awful to experience that, but when you are going through those down moments, look up at your goal and look up about why you're doing that. And when you kind of stuck and you see that you have a goal and you have this kind of thing that is shining in your life, you will just attract that light that is will give you a push of encouragement and go further till you reach that goal, and then you use that goal to do what you meant to do.
That's the next thing. Fantastic. Sarah, thank you so much for coming online, sharing your story with us today. I can see a lot is in the horizon for you in the future. I know that you're also working with the La Trobe Christian Union. I've noticed that you are also involved in the Victoria Parliament, the Youth Parliament. So many things that you are playing at. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Diversity Connector is connecting people from all walks of life, young and old. Today, we have had a very inspiring young woman who is forging her way here in Victoria. And I feel really honored to have met you today, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that wonderful platform that you have created and also that you invited me. I do really appreciate your time, and also thanks for this invitation to kind of hear my story. And I'm very glad that you did so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for everyone
And
who has.
thank you. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. I'll be back again tomorrow with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. And that's a wrap, everybody, on today's episode of the Diversity Connector podcast. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our vibrant and global conversation. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a tapestry of diverse perspectives. Remember, every story you've heard today is a thread in the larger fabric of our shared humanity. So, as you step back into your world, carry these stories with you and let them inspire you to embrace and celebrate the rich diversity around us. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these inspiring stories with more listeners. Do follow us on social media by looking for the Diversity Connector podcast for more updates. Until then, keep connecting, keep listening, and keep celebrating the beauty of diversity. This is the Diversity Connector podcast signing off. Stay curious, stay open,